Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Backwoods Uncle Bub's Bushcraft. Today we are going to be making a very simple cooking burner. It's the Buddy Burner. If you don't know how to make this, stick around. We're about to make one. It's really simple. We used to make these back in the Scouts all the time. They work great for your hobo stove or whatever when you just want to get a quick burn going and not have to collect a bunch of wood and whatnot. You're going to need a few simple things: a piece of cardboard, a tuna can, a can to melt some wax in. I've pinched the tip here for easy pouring. A larger can to set your melting can down in. I'm going to fill water around the side here and make a double boiler. Pretty simple. That's just because wax is extremely flammable, and when it reaches a certain temperature, it can spontaneously combust. With the double boiler here, it'll maintain an even, steady temperature while it melts and will help prevent it from bursting into flames. We're also going to need some wax. I'm using old utility candles. I'm just going to shave them up with my knife. A heat source. I'm using a hot plate today because, well, I have it. Why not use it? And some water for the double boiler. Okay, so we're going to get the camera situated here and we'll get back right with you. We're a little bit set up here. The first thing I'm going to do is shave up this candle here into some small pieces so it'll melt quicker. So basically all I'm doing is I'm going to shave it up into some small pieces so it'll aid in the melting process. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not creating a work of art. We're just getting it small enough so it'll melt quickly. You could put this whole candle in there, but it'd take a while for it to melt. This way it'll melt a lot quicker and it'll save us some time. Alright, now we got our shavings ready. Set the cardboard to the side here. Get our heat source out. A can for our double boiler. I used a lot more than just that little bit you saw me shave up. I guess there's probably about two and a half candles worth in here. I just shaved a little off screen so it saves some time. If you don't have candles, you can use paraffin wax, crayons, whatever. Any type of wax will work. You could even use beeswax if you wanted to spend that much money on it, but you know, paraffin works just as great and is relatively cheap. So, put our can down in our bigger can here for our double boiler. Fill the outside around with water. This will help control the temperature. Don't add too much because your can will float away. May have to take a little bit of that out. Maybe a bit more. There we go. And turn our heat source on. Now, while that's getting ready and melting up, move it out of the way here, we're going to take our tuna can and our piece of cardboard, and we're going to measure out basically about the width of the can here, all the way down to get a strip of cardboard the same width as their can. So now I've already went ahead and done that. So I'm going to take out my little razor knife here and go ahead and cut that strip out, being mindful of my fingers. Safety first. If you have leather gloves, you should probably put them on. I will be using these to remove the wax off the heat here in a minute. Now we got our strip of cardboard. We're simply going to roll it up like so. And the cardboard you want to use is the corrugated cardboard. the type with the space in between. That's not a real good shot. Like so. That way when you pour your wax in, it'll go down into the grooves and hold in the wax. Okay, so basically we're going to roll our cardboard up like so, and place it into our can. Now you can see that's really a loose roll, so I'm definitely going to need more cardboard. So I'm going to cut a few more strips to add to this to get it packed in there nice and tight. Now that we got our several strips cut out here, this isn't mandatory, but I'm going to do this to help with the lighting of the stove. Is I got a little old piece of a old t-shirt that was an old work shirt, and it just got to where there's too many holes in it to actually wear. So I just cut a strip off roughly the same width as these strips. And I'm going to roll this up in between the cardboard just to help with the lighting. Just lay it on the strip and start to roll. When you run out of cardboard, add another strip. And once we get it rolled up, we just cram it in there. Be mindful of any sharp edges on the can. You could still cut yourself. Just like so. There we go. Now we have our cardboard and cloth tucked down in the can, and our wax is melting down nicely. Don't worry about the junk floating around in there. It wasn't the cleanest can I chose, but it doesn't matter. It'll get the job done. Okay, our wax is all melted. We got our gloves on for safety. I'm going to turn the heat down, scoot it over to the side so it's not in our way. Take our melted wax in the can and simply pour it over our cardboard and cloth in our tuna can, making sure it soaks down in the little grooves, going slow. You don't want to overfill it too much. Trying to get in the can, not all over my workbench. And just fill it up, let it soak down, and keep doing this until it's completely full. That's what happens when you overfill it. It's a good idea to either do this outside or have something over your work area. If you're doing this indoors, please put something over the table or countertop you're working on. Otherwise, your better half will kill you. Well, they might not kill you, but they'll definitely make your life miserable. Okay, we let it set up a bit, and it's pretty much solid now. I've just dug around in there and pulled out a little bit of the cotton cloth to aid in lighting. If you didn't use the cotton cloth and just use straight corrugated cardboard, you just rough up the surface with your knife and get a little of the cardboard coming out there, just to aid in lighting, make it easier. As you can tell, I have wax all over my work area. I knocked my can of molten wax over, and it got pretty much everywhere. That's why you should always cover your work area if you're working indoors. What little I salvaged, I got these little dried out wax chips now, which are great because you can actually add fuel to this stove as it burns simply by adding little chunks of wax to it when it starts to get low. So, you know, it's a solid fuel stove in that aspect. You can just carry a candle or two with you, and you don't have to worry about you know, the fuel leaking out or getting all messy everywhere, because well, it's just solid wax. So we're going to get out a handy dandy Bic lighter here. Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm using a lighter, but it's just for demonstration purposes. You could strike some sparks onto a char cloth and blow the char cloth into an ember and then light this with the char cloth, but hey, just demonstration, we're using a lighter. So we're just going to get that lit here. The wind's kind of blowing, just there we go. And there it is. It's burning. It's just burning there in the center right now, but as it catches, it will radiate out to the whole part of the stove, and then you'll basically have one big fat hot burning candle that you can boil water over, cook over, heat your shelter, add light to around the camp. And like I said, you know, if it's running low, just add some wax chips, little chunks of candle or whatnot, just toss them in there just like that, and they'll burn down and refill your stove as it goes along. Alright, thanks for watching another episode of Backwoods Uncle Bub's Bushcraft. This is Bub, and as usual, rate, comment, and or subscribe. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.